Hello there, morning to you. Well, reached Thursday, well done. And this is, well, it's going to be Thursday, the 16th of July. So that's us more than halfway through. So just bringing folks up to date, we're going to have a normal, I guess that has to be in inverted commas, YouTube service on Sunday morning. Um, Bang on the Lion's Den, God is our protector. And then we will be going to the following two Sundays where there'll be a YouTube Sunday service as usual, but it won't be me. It'll be the moderator of the General Assembly. He's done this really good thing, guy's called Martin Fair, and he's put together a service that churches can then put out on their YouTube channels and just put out for broadcast. And he does all the different bits, and it's a bit like there's a worship band and there's a guy who does the reading, and then there's different bits and pieces as you would normally get with ourselves. So that's on for 2 weeks, and so it's really good. The pebbles on the beach, I thought, was a very good analogy, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The point is, then there's going to be a kind of holiday club service with folks from Cambuslang as well as ourselves. The children will be doing things. And I think after that, it's the 16th of August. Stay tuned, as in we'll let folks know if there's information that we need to kind of update you. We're trying, I think, to get back to church and have a Sunday service, kind of. Still don't think we're going to be singing, because I don't think the 2 meters social distancing is for people speaking. If you start singing, it doesn't matter who you are. You chuck out all these pathogens even further. So we can't sing, but hopefully we'll get back to church at some point soon. Thought for the day, we're kind of finishing off with John Lennox. I've kind of missed out a chapter simply because he's talking about, to his credit, he is essentially an apologist for the Christian faith, and by that he goes through a whole chapter on maybe the atheists have got it right, maybe the atheists are helping, maybe if you've got a pandemic to deal with, maybe the atheists would be a better approach, and I don't think he's doing them an unfairness, but it doesn't come across very well. In the sense, I don't think the atheists, they've just got, this is brute reality, live with it or die with it, as the case may be. Just be thankful for the life that you have had. So it comes back to a greater focus. He comes back to a greater focus in chapter 6, when he's looking at if we accept that there is, unlike the atheists, if we accept that there's a loving Heavenly Father who actually loves us, does that actually make a difference? And he's got 5 points, and I've only got 3 days left, so we're squeezing them in. It's funny, I actually took this as a positive, in as much as most of this stuff we have in some fashion covered before, but one, repetition is good. But the first one we haven't really focused on. What difference does God make? And one of the things that he says is, take advice, or as he says, heed advice. On the practical level, we should be wise to take heed of the best medical advice of the day. The problem arises here is when that advice is not consistent, or where it is confused, as has been characteristic of some news broadcasting. In order to reduce the spread of the virus, this is all the boring stuff you've heard a million times before, but he does put a spiritual twist on it. Quarantine has been introduced for those people who are most at risk, especially the elderly. Those with underlying medical conditions of the heart and respiratory system. Interestingly, in ancient biblical times, the Israelites were also instructed with regard to what they needed to do to prevent the spread of infectious diseases. In the Old Testament book of Leviticus, it even prescribed 7 days isolation for some diseases. 7 days. They only had 7 days. We have to do 14 in our world. When was the last time you thought, oh, they had it easy back in Leviticus? hmm. And then there's other diseases of an unspecified kind. In other words, he's, first of all, the Bible it does actually, as he says, the reality of pandemics and epidemics has been with humanity for so many years. How to deal with an epidemic is actually in Leviticus, but there's also a bigger, overarching, more philosophical point, because Romans 12 talks about the fact that the authorities, even though they're not Christian, the authorities are not there by accident. God puts in place, even in a secular sense, the people who are there to rule over us. We have to pray for them. I recognise there will be some people who say, I understand the concept on an abstract level, but praying for Nicola Sturgeon or praying for Boris Johnson, I mean, it could be worse. I could be asking you to pray for Donald Trump. So, Ixiosi. The point is, you're supposed to pray for those who are in a position of leadership. And what Romans says is that we're supposed to actually affirm and do what it is they've said. In other words, you're not a doctor, and neither am I. If you are, then I take it back. The point is, we are meant to trust our leaders, and we are meant to recognise, while we personally may on occasion feel, I just want to kind of hug the relative or the grandchild or the whoever, they're not telling us to maintain social distancing of 2 meters for a laugh. They're not, they're not organising COVID funerals to make the bereavement worse. We should heed instruction because it's the Christian thing to do, to take the instructions of those who are in positions of power, not because we're mindless automatons and we just accept that somebody, I don't think you're allowed to just accept what a politician says. You should test it. But the point that he's making is, if you believe in a loving Heavenly Father, what does that imply about how a Christian should respond to the situation we're in? We should assume, until we have good evidence to the contrary, and you'd have to say there are some world leaders, I think we have evidence that they're not really thinking about putting their population first. The point is, until we do have evidence, we should take the advice of people in power, because we trust that they're making decisions for the whole of humanity so that the whole population can fight against this virus. That's not sycophantic, that's not unthinking, that's not stupid. It's the reverse. It's a wise thing to do, and ultimately a godly, loving thing to do, to heed instruction. The other thing, as I say, 5 points, we only got 3 days. The other one I'll just add in, which is maintain perspective. And he quotes C.S. Lewis, and we've actually quoted the bit he says already. But the fact is, it's just that sense of, this has happened before. Pandemics are not new. This is new to us, that humanity has had to deal with this down through the years. The sudden presence of a pandemic should not make you conclude that God isn't there, God doesn't care, and basically all atheists are right. What you're meant to conclude is, this too will end because God will bring us through it. And in that place of security, we do what we can for our neighbours, for ourselves, to make the best of the situation that we're in. There are times, I think, especially now when lockdown is beginning to ease, when you realise people are kind of going a bit not quite keeping to the rules as far as face masks and 2 meters and all that kind of stuff, because it's like, it's fine. If we want to make sure there's no spike, heeding advice of the authorities is definitely what we should be doing just now, because it's a loving, godly thing to do. Hopefully you can have a good day, and I'll see you Friday, hopefully, and we'll take it from there. What 3 points will I use to fill in 2 days? I'm not sure. I've read them. I'm just not sure how I'm going to allot them. The fact is, I hope you have a good day, and I hope you go with God, because I know God goes with you. Bye-bye.